Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's versions of readings. This is on YouTube channel James13 Wicca. In case you're seeing it anywhere else, this is where it should be. Also, I'm now offering live readings, in-person readings, if you're near Herkimer, New York. This weekend, October 26th, I will be in Dolishville for a benefit for Lisa Knapp, doing short readings. I believe that's from 1 to 5. I'll have more information on my Instagram on that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Information below. If you're interested in the donation information, then information is also below. Thank you very much, and let's go into your reading. Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Virgo? That's going to work to your benefit. Okay. So, ooh, and it ends with your card. We like that. Your card is the Hermit card, by the way, which means you're in your element. Things are where you want them to be, respectively. Okay, so that's gonna work for you. I feel like I want to start off with that because this is actually gonna work for you. A lot of other people would be intimidated, but I feel like once you start feeling out how it actually works, Virgo can work with strict rules. And when I'm getting the devil, a lot of people are like, oh no, the devil, ah. Oh yeah, okay. In the tarot, it's got a lot of different variables, right? One of them is not only boundaries, but like these strict boundaries. And if you cross that boundary, very harsh repercussions. That's how I'd read it anyway. It doesn't, ironically, always have to be bad. I know people hear the devil and they're like, oh, the devil. It talks about Capricorn energy sometimes. Very compatible energy to Virgo. This, whatever this is, it has boundaries and it's very set in its ways. And if you can roll with that, you're going to be surprised that you can make this situation exactly what you want it to be, because I feel like once I understand the rules, I know where I can and can't go, and I simply just find my comfortable spot and just do what I need to do with it. Virgo, dare I say, I think Virgo likes rules. Rules that make sense, clearly. Like, not just rules for the sake of rules, obviously. But it's kind of like, when you first come towards this, or at least when you have, it's kind of like, I kind of felt like I was stuck with it, is what I'm getting. Now, it depends on where you are in the process here. Because your initial reaction to this is kind of like, well, I'm kind of stuck with it. Or I feel like I'm kind of boxed in with it. And I don't know how long it's going to take you to see something a little differently. Seven of Swords reversed. I can't really get away with it. I can't really get away from it. I have to deal with it. But I feel like in the beginning, I'm not really seeing how this is going to work for me. I feel like when this starts, or when this did start, I don't really see where this is going to benefit me. I understand that it has its ways, but maybe in the beginning even, I'm not realizing that it's consistent, or at least not consistent in a way that I can work with it. In the beginning, I'm not seeing the potential. I'm not seeing that. And you might be moving on from that energy into a point where you're kind of like, you know what? Maybe this can be more of my friend, more of a good situation. If this is like a business connection, and maybe it's like, whatever, it's got that business, like, emotional distance, if you will, like, you know, as far as business connections go, this is a good thing, but maybe that's as far as we go. I feel like you're figuring it out. You're figuring out the puzzle. I'm still, like, I'm having a hard time seeing where I can actually maneuver it where I want it to go, but I'm starting to figure it out, is what I'm getting. And I feel like the first thing that comes in that I'm getting where this starts moving over to your favor is acknowledging, like, you know what? Certain things here are consistent. And I, like, since they're consistent, I know if I do this, that's going to happen. If I want this to stay there, I can do this, and that won't be a problem, because as long as I meet that rule, meet that requirement, this is dependable. It does the same thing every time. And I'm starting to really like that. Does that mean everything in this situation is, yippee skippy? No. It's not all sunshine roses, but it's kind of like I'm starting to figure out the puzzle. And this might be also a situation where the rules, it's not like the rules are just all written out so you can just read through them and understand them. It's more of like through experience. It's kind of like when a certain person has a trigger word, like I'm gonna make it really simple. Like, when the word daffodil, like, I never realized that was an insult until I saw it in one movie and somebody used it as an insult. I'm like, a daffodil? That's an insult? Okay. But it's realizing something simple like the word daffodil can trigger somebody. They're like, oh, are you calling me this? Because that's how that's been used in my life before. So you're saying that. When you say that word, that triggers me. That makes me very unhappy with you. That makes me kind of like look at you in a darker light. And it's kind of like, oh, okay. And I feel like you're starting to realize there's certain things in this situation that are like that. I'm using that purposely, I feel. Like the word daffodil, like I never realized, until I saw it in that movie, never occurred to me that somebody would use that as like an insult. It's right over my head. But once you realize that that's how they're taking it, doesn't mean you have to accept that meaning, but it's like, oh, I don't feel that that's what that means, but I understand if that's used in that if that's used with this person, they're going to take it with that connotation. And it's kind of like, okay, all right. And then you're also realizing there's certain things that like you feel like don't really make sense that they like. So it's almost like, when certain people use this part of their office or whatever, if they straighten up and clean up stuff, even though they didn't put it out in disarray, but if they put it back in order the way it's supposed to go, even though maybe they didn't put it in disarray, they seem to get a lot nicer to people who do that type of stuff. Like, where things go, where they're supposed to go. It's not your job to clean it up. But if you do that for this person, they seem to be a lot nicer, and all of a sudden they want to help you do things. It's kind of like you're starting to figure that out. It's like, I shouldn't have to do that, and I don't. But if I do, this person is nicer to me. This person, goes out of their way a little bit. Maybe not, mountains, but a little bit out of their way for me. And I'm starting to catch on that there's like a favoritism thing here. I'm questioning that. Because it's favoritism in the sense of like when you appease this person, I feel like it's a person for most of you, you appease the situation, it kind of like, it's nicer to you. It's like you get an advantage from it. But it's kind of like whoever pays attention and actually does those things gets the advantage. So it's kind of like, anybody can get this advantage. It's not like, just certain people are allowed, but not everybody, or maybe most people, aren't catching on to it. And it might be one of those things where you're like, yeah, I understand. I like things where I want my things. And if people keep things where I want, it's kind of like, walking into a kitchen. I have a friend like that. Don't leave it a mess. If you see that there's crumbs on the thing, just, get a paper towel, clean it up. Don't just leave it there just because it's not your house if they're your friend. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. Because I feel like you're starting to go into a really good energy and other people aren't. The Ten of Swords happens, which ironically works for you. Why? There's a transition. I get that. They get the Ten of Swords, the Fool reversed. Other people are not going to fare well, but you're going to fare well. You got the Sun card, the Ten of Pentacles. As long as you go with the rules, everything's good. Other people who want to make their own rules and are just... The Fool reversed in this one is very interesting because it's kind of like people are purposely doing what they want, thinking they can reshape the situation. Because the Fool right side up is like not paying attention, just doing what you want. But reversed, it's like calculated moves. Like very purposefully trying to change a situation without realizing that, the way you're handling a situation does not match what the situation is. So it kind of reminds me of somebody, how the Fool jumps off the cliff in the card. I don't think I have the card out right now. But it's like a calculated move is like trying to get a parachute and jump off a cliff and being like, well, maybe that wasn't the right parachute and you're not going to go. you know, it's only one type of parachute. You're going to go down. You're not going to get hurt, but you're not going to end up where you wanted to go. If that makes sense. Like there's people around this situation that think they know things. And again, it's like jumping off a cliff with a parachute. I think it depends on what type of parachute you use if you want to like, you know, guide it and make distance. But if you, I don't know how these work. I'm getting one that just goes straight down. So it's kind of like they don't know what they're doing. They don't pay attention to the rules. You're paying attention to the rules, so it's working in your favor. I don't know what to do with these other people because I keep seeing you figuring it out and you making good on it. Other people are not. Other people, again, I think I started with that, where other people might be intimidated by this energy or try to buck against it. And I'm getting like, you seem to understand, like, I got to think this out. I got to pay attention and learn the rules as they're there. It doesn't matter if they make sense, or it doesn't matter if I agree with them. They're there. And if I know they're there and I see them, if I work within them, I can maneuver myself to a place where I can be comfortable and things can work out for me. Because the rules seem to be kind of very like, the rules are the rules. They're just going to stick there. And again, it doesn't matter if people agree with the rules or like the rules. They are what they are. What's coming forward is a good question. Because there's a moment here where I feel like there's a very brutal conversation. I'm not really sure how that's going to affect you. There's a difference between being a part of a conversation that's brutal but kind of absorbing, and there's another one where it's kind of like you have to participate with it. I'm getting the hiccups, so I'm getting like, it's a brutal conversation. I keep getting. I'm seeing it with the. I got the hiccups with this. Like, it may be a very uncomfortable conversation. And I feel like there's a lot with this. My first knee-jerk reaction is just like, all right, let's just get it done. Let's just fix it. Let's just fix it. Let's just fix it. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be that bad. Something needs to be done. The truth is coming forward. What does this say? Don't give up on love, which I feel like with saying don't give up on this situation as if we're just going to have discord. There's going to be people here. There's going to be unhappy people. There's going to be some unhappy people. I don't know. I feel like your energy is just kind of like, I don't like this conversation. It's not comfortable. But it's like stepping beyond it. The conversation is going to be the conversation. This is one of those parts where it's, if you're watching this reading, by watching this reading, it doesn't make it happen. It's either going to happen or it's not. And I feel like I'm just kind of making it through that conversation. It's very uncomfortable. It's more about what you do after. And it's kind of like realizing that other people, I feel like there's a lot of negativity around this. Other people are just very not happy. And they're not really going in a good direction with that. The thing to be aware of for you is to slow down and go with your strengths. To slow down and go with your strengths. There's a push. There's like this, we got to fix it, we got to fix it, we got to fix it energy. That's not usually Virgo's jam. And I don't feel like you really want to, but there might be some social pull to get you to try to do that. I'm getting slow down and work on your path forward. Other people, sometimes it's got to be, sometimes it just needs to be. Other people's problems have to be just that, other people's problems. They don't relate to this the way you do. And I feel like it's going to be a very rough road for those people. If you do what you need to do, things will go a lot easier for you. You have to detach a little bit from that if it's going to go better for you. And you know, people will see how you're doing things and they'll have the ability to kind of assimilate and kind of go your direction. They may fight that and not want to. Sorry, I just realized my phone. How do I turn you off? Didn't realize I didn't do that. Okay. They may, I don't think they're going to want to go your way. They have a chance to. They may try to manipulate you further because you're probably doing better with the situation and they may not like that. They don't want people actually doing well. They want to prove that it's wrong. And if you're making it work, that makes them unhappy. There could be something with that. But if you kind of move forward in your own energy, you stick to what's right for you, you slow it down, make it work for you, I'm getting things can go very, very well for you. This is a slow build, whatever this is. Because, again, by slowing it down, you get this chance to build it and put it where you want it to, baby step by baby step. But it's kind of like, I'd rather do baby step by baby step and actually create what I want and keep it than make a fast change that's going to fail anyway. It may work it for 5 minutes, but then after 5 minutes passes, then we fail and we do this again. I'm not into that. Even if it goes, yeah, fast changes that fail, you're not into that. I don't think we need to go down that road. You know that. Keep your energy open. Consider changes going forward, but slow and tested. Slow and tested. This seems to be an earth thing anyway, which clearly Virgo's an earth sign. Move forward slowly. Be open to change, but make sure you can test it. Test it. Do a little bit. Did it work? Let me refine it. Let me try it again. Did it work? A little bit better. Let's refine it a little bit more. Okay, this one, that I like that. All right, we'll keep that change. Let's try another one. Test it, refine it, test it, refine it. Do your thing. Be open to change, but on your terms. Test it, test it, test it. This is meant to go your way, whatever this is, if this reading is hitting. But if other people pull you where they want to go, and I feel like there's social pressure with that. I really do. That's going to make this more difficult than better for you. You may have to socially distance yourself from some people, especially if this is a work situation. And maybe the people you hang out with on break and lunch, or maybe even after or before work, whatever that goes, and they're becoming disruptive. You may have to distance yourself temporarily or just lessen the connection. So, for example, maybe you do something before work with them. You can still do that, but then try to oh, I got something to do on lunch, or oh, I got other things to do. I'm trying to catch up on this. I'm going to do bills, or I'm going to research. There's something I have to go to the store. Something. Keep distancing yourself until that energy kind of calms down and starts respecting that you're going to do things the way you're going to do, and then kind of let that come back in. But a lot of this is about you being in your strength. Doing it the way you need to do, slowing it down the way you want to, and it may entail distancing yourself from people who are pushing you a little bit too hard. And it's kind of like, all right, I'm trying to get them to leave me alone. But it's becoming a stress. So I'm going to kind of distance my connection for a little while. Doesn't mean you have to cut it off. Just distance it for a little while so that they don't have that pressure as often on you as maybe they have in the past. Because this can go really well. This should go your way. And it's kind of like in the environment, even though a lot of other people find it difficult, I feel like this can go very well for you. All right, we're good. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.